Very good morning to all the students of class 12th political science, and students, welcome back to the online classes here for the revision. As I told you, we had already started the revision of chapter number 3rd, and in that chapter number 3rd, the names I told you according to the new revised syllabus, the new name is new centers of power. Previously it used to be alternative centers of power, in which we had already studied about European Union and ASEAN. ASEAN means Association of Southeast Asian Nations and European Union. But here now the new topics according to the new revised syllabus, the name of the chapter is also changed, new centers of power, and by this name new centers of power means we have updated the syllabus for the students. We have the updated syllabus, that is these are some of the new centers which can be a challenge for the hegemony of US. As we know, it is showing the hegemony and influence and domination all around the world in terms of economy, military, culturally, everywhere. So here there are few news emerging new centers which are like a challenge to the US hegemony. So we shall be taking these one by one, and the first one I am taking is, this is not in your book, this is according to the new revised syllabus, and this content is also given by CBSE through a PDF which I had already sent you in the group. Okay, so we will study about BRICS today. So we will try and understand why this topic, that is BRICS, we are studying under new centers of power, why it is called new centers of power that can challenge US dominance or US power. So it can be a challenge to US or United States of America. So as you know this name, BRICS. So first of all, let's start. What do we understand by the word BRICS? What is the full form of these words? This is written in capital letters. The term BRICS refers to Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. This is the full form of BRICS. So these are the 5 countries which form this association or this group which is called BRICS. So let's study some of the important history of BRICS. So see, previously it was not called BRICS, B-R-I-C. It was only BRIC. That is, only 4 members were there who were the parts of this BRIC. South Africa, that is S, has been added later on. Previously there were only 4. This is Brazil, Russia, India and China. So only 4 were there in the beginning. Was founded in 2006. When this association was founded in 2006, there were only 4 members: Brazil, Russia, India and China. And this association was founded in Russia. Okay. Later on, this BRIC turned into BRICS. This BRIC, that was 4 members, they turned into 5 members. It means they added with them South Africa. That is why we have added to this name now S also, after incursion of South Africa. Okay, I hope you must have understood. In 2006, when this association was formed in Russia, there were only 4 member countries. Later on, this was joined by one more country, that is South Africa, and this made BRIC into BRICS. And in its first meeting in the year 2009, this was the first meeting of this association or this organization BRICS in 2009, and in this meeting only South Africa joined this group. The key, so let's now see, I have written as a whole paragraph, but this would be a different topic. Let's see some of the important objectives of BRICS. What were the objectives of this association? Why these 5 countries came together to pose a challenge to US hegemony or to US dominance? Why they came up together? What were the objectives? So the primary objective was to cooperate and distribute. See, this is going to be very common to each and every association you will study. Whether we are studying about NAM, whether we are studying about ASEAN, we are studying about European Union, or we are studying about BRICS. These are the organizations. Of course, they are combining because individually they cannot cope up with the emerging power of US. So they wanted to cooperate. They wanted to come together to form a good economic and military power. So the first objective of this group was also to cooperate and distribute mutual economic benefits. Whatever economic benefits, economic development will be held within this organization, it will be distributed equally. That is why it's written distribute mutual economic benefits among its members. So this means whatever the plans, policies and frameworks will be decided and implemented, and after that whatever will be the economic development, economic gains, that economic profit will be shared equally by all the members. It means all the 5 countries of BRICS. But apart from that, they also decided, this was also the objective, we can say, non-interference in the internal policies of each nation and mutual equality. They will, it does not mean if they are partners, they have formed an association, so they will interfere in the internal matters or the foreign policies of other countries. So there were various guidelines that which were the do's and which were the don't do's. Okay, so according to those guidelines they used to work. So there was a guideline that non-interference in the internal policies of each nation and mutual equality. Mutual equality here means, like in USSR we had seen, there was not a mutual equality, although there were 15 countries as a part of USSR, but the domination was shown by Russia. All the other 14 countries were dominated by Russia. So here they decided that there will be a mutual equality. No one will be superior or inferior. All are equal. So, okay. So the 11th conference of the, like every organization has meeting, annual meetings, they meet for the annual discussions, for the further plannings and for the implementation of their plans. So in the 11th conference of the BRICS, that the last and the latest conference or the meeting which BRICS had was held in Brazil in 2019, and the chairperson, or it was chaired by Brazilian president who was also the military officer, okay, retired military officer Jair Bolsonaro. He is the president of Brazil, and this meeting was held under his chairmanship in 2019. So this was the 11th. So the question can come, who was in the 11th conference of the BRICS association was concluded in Brazil in 2019. It was chaired by whom? So you will have to write the name of the president, Jair Bolsonaro. Okay, so these are some of the important points you have to remember, and this is a very vast syllabus or a topic, we can say, like studying about organization. It means we can write books on it, but we have to study according to the CBSE. So the content which they have given, I will be teaching you according to that. I will limit myself to the data given by the CBSE, but still I am adding few important things which would be helpful for you in framing the answer if you have to write about BRICS. This is some of the important points I have written down. This would be helpful for you in framing your answer. So if I talk about BRICS, I have explained you its objective, I have shown you its history, I have told about its members, okay, and I have also discussed about the latest conference which was held in 2019 in Brazil. So now this term BRICS, okay, this term was coined, or we can say this BRICS as a word was coined by economist Goldman Sachs. He was the economist Goldman Sachs. He has coined the term BRICS. Again, this S was not there, as he had coined this term in 2006. Okay, so way before, in 2006 this BRICS came into being, but in 2003 already this economist Goldman Sachs had already coined this term BRIC in 2003, in which South Africa was not included. In this, South Africa was not included because we know South Africa became the member of BRICS in 2009 when it was going through its first meeting or the first conference or the first summit. Okay. Second is according to Goldman. So according to him, by 2050, this is 2020, so it has been estimated or assumed by Goldman Sachs that by 2050 these four economies, which four economies? BRIC, Brazil, Russia, India, China, as South Africa was not the part. He said that by 2050 these four economies of these four big countries, important countries, would be most dominating. In terms of economy, these four countries will be most dominating around the world. They will be challenging US hegemony in terms of economic, political or military power. So it will finish the domination of US dominance around the world. So it was assumed by Goldman Sachs. So some of the more important points about which you can write down in your answers when you are writing about BRICS is, when they meet for the conference, every year they are having a conference or the meeting, so they talk mostly about globally important issues. The first thing which they discuss in their summit or in their conference is the globally important challenges or the issues currently going on. Like if you talk about 2019 summit, there must have been issues like global warming, terrorism, global poverty, etc. These are some of the recent important issues going around the world. Okay, so these are some of the important issues which are taken up in the conference. So, and 42% of the world population, if I talk about these 5 member countries, that is Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, they consist of 42% of the world population. So it is a huge proportion of total population of world that consists only of within these 5 countries. So this makes these 5 countries, this BRICS, a very important group organization which can be a new center of power, which can challenge any power in the world, because human power, human resource is the most important resource, and 42% are the total number of population living in BRICS itself. So it can be a very good economy, it can be a very good market, it can be good for trade, because human resources and the human population is the most important factor. Okay, and 23% of the world GDP, of the total world GDP, 23% is by these 5 countries, and 16% of the world trade is shared by these 5 members of BRICS. So all these 3 factors makes BRICS a very important new center, emerging center of power at the global level. And these 3, population, GDP and world trade, this is the main factors of growth and development. If we are looking for growth and development in any of the countries or any of the emerging power, we will look at the population size, we will look at the world GDP, and we will see the share of world trade of those countries. So this plays a very important role, which makes these groups of BRIC a very challenging and new power recently. Okay, and this is the important point, peaceful multipolar world. This is we can say also the aim and objective of BRICS. They don't want to be unipolar. They don't want a world which is bipolar, which we have already. Unipolar means where the powers is influenced by only one single power. Bipolar means like we had studied during Cold War, USSR and US. So but now these BRICS, these countries wanted that the world should have a multipolar world which can promote peace and development. Multipolar means all the countries should be equally treated. There should not be any countries which show dominance on the other member countries around the world. So they always wanted a peaceful multipolar world. So this is the aim and objective also of the BRICS. These countries are coming under BRICS. Okay, I hope you must have understand this topic, and I shall be giving you assignment regarding this. Moving on, after BRICS, moving on to the next new center of power, the emerging power at the global level recently is Russia. This would be easy for you as you have already read the Cold War, you have read a lot about Russia and USSR. So this is going to be easy for you, but what I wanted you to learn about BRICS properly. So I shall read some important points of Russia and you shall be easily able to answer this. So if there will be a question relating to Russia as a new emerging center of power which can challenge the US dominance. So Russia has been the largest part of the former Soviet Union. As we know, Russia, if you see physically on the map, the territory of Russia, it is a huge territory, and it has been and when it was under USSR, it was the largest part of former Soviet Union even before its disintegration. After the dissolution or the collapse of Soviet Union, that is in 1991, they have given a complete period, because this is a slow and gradual process where there was a disintegration of USSR. So it started from 1980s to 1990s, and finally in 1991 USSR disintegrated. And when USSR disintegrated, many countries like Russia emerged as the strongest successor. There were many countries, total 15 countries. Out of them, this is the most important and the most powerful country which showed its dominance on the other member countries. So Russia emerged as a strong successor of USSR. This collapsed, this was finished, but its successor was Russia. Why we are calling it successor? Because all the international treaties, agreements, weapons, everything was controlled by Russia, which was used to be the responsibility of USSR. Okay, now talking about Russia's GDP, gross domestic product, is currently 11th in the world. If you rank GDP rank of Russia, it is 11th in the world, and Russia has a huge reserves. As I told you, it has a It is very close to the boundaries and territories of Asia and Europe, and it has a huge mineral stocks, natural resources and gases, which makes it an important we can say emerging power, which has lot of capacity and potential to produce its own goods that can make powerful country in the global world. So it's written Russia has reserves of mineral, natural resources, gases. Because of these minerals and gases and natural resources, this makes this powerful country in the global world. So this is making this country a very emerging power in the world. In addition, Russia is a nuclear state, so all the nuclear weapons, weapons of mass destruction, as it was a race of stocking of arms and nuclear weapons during the Cold War, when we saw there was an arm race between US and USSR and the allies of US and USSR. So all the nuclear weapons were under the control of Russia now, with a huge stock of sophisticated weapons. So it has a very good stock of these weapons, nuclear weapons. Russia is also a permanent member. This plays a very important role. Russia is also a permanent member of UN Security Council. Permanent member means it has the veto power. If Russia doesn't want to follow or support any particular decision taken by the permanent members of the United Nations Security Council, it can challenge the decision given by the other permanent members. It is called P5. So I hope you must have understood about Russia and BRICS, and about India we shall be taking in the next video. Till then, thank you.